So I did it for the first game, I did it for the second game, I did it for the third. Okay, well, not quite yet, but why not give Vengeance a try? Huh. Okay. How about we go one at a time? And what better tower to start with than the one the game prompts you to place first? Shadow Archers. Okay, here are the rules and the subsequent rules for all future towers in this series. I can only use Shadow Archers or, whatever specific tower I've chosen for that episode. Heroes are completely free game. I'll do whatever I want on that front. All I gotta do is beat the level, okay? There's no specific star requirement, unless I'm feeling fancy, I guess. I gotta start from a new save, so all of my upgrade points are completely earned. No items, of course, and as always, no funny business. None. Okay? Let's go. Woo! Per usual, the first few levels were a walk in the park. I mean, it's just the developers kind of teaching players the game mechanics. Stuff like this is how you place a tower, this is how you move your hero, place different towers next to each other because it's good for strategy, that kind of stuff. So I pretty much blasted through these first levels, and I placed Farouk right in the front so he could get as much experience as possible. And I made it to Clockwork Factory pretty much without any issue. Then I started messing up. Clockwork Tower and this kind of whole robot builder section is pretty problematic for the Shadow Archers because most of the enemies at this part of the game have some level of physical armor, and there's just so many little guys running around, and it's kind of hard for the archers to stop them. So my first attempt, I actually went in with Azra. I just unlocked her, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm moving the hero so much, maybe I'll get a hero that's a little bit more mobile. I'll give that a try. It kind of makes a little bit more sense. That was a mistake, so I kind of got clobbered on the final wave of this level. I just didn't have the firepower to kill the stone engineers before they brought the mech guys back to life. And I didn't have very many abilities, my archers were so spread out. It didn't work out great. So I tried again with basically the same strategy and the same hero, except I consolidated my defenses just a little bit more. Until the final wave for some reason, where I just, placed archers all over the place for some reason. Long story short, that did not work. I decided it was time to switch back to Farouk because Azra's hero ability wasn't really helping me out that much, and I really missed Farouk's extra minions that I could spawn in. Also, Azra just really doesn't have the stopping ability Farouk has. He's a big guy. He can take quite a few hits. Look, Farouk, I'm so sorry I ever doubted you. It won't happen again. My third attempt also failed right at the end. Of course it happens right at the end. The final wave, just a few guys slipped by. But this time I was pretty sure I knew what I was doing wrong. So the Shadow Archers have 3 different abilities: Crow's Nest, Shadow Mark, and Blade of Demise. So far I had only really put money into the Crow upgrade. Yeah, it only does a little bit of damage, but it was constant damage. The Blade of Demise upgrade is kind of like an insta-kill that's on a timer cooldown, so I wasn't really all that interested in that, because most of the time in Vengeance, cooldown upgrades really take a long time and don't make much of an impact on the game. And the Shadow Mark allows towers to deal more damage to a specific marked enemy, but they just kind of come out at seemingly random times, and it also relies on that things continue to hit it while it's being marked. So I kind of figured Crow's Nest was my best bet. But when the big guys are coming through, even with maxed out crows, it's a little hard to kill these suckers in time. So I figured I needed to get a little lucky. On the following attempt, I pumped a bunch of money into the insta-kill upgrades. I figured that, okay, maybe if I get a few lucky insta-kills from archers here and there, they'll be able to kill the big guys, and then the waves will be significantly easier for the rest of my archers. And honestly, it worked like a charm. Like, on this attempt, I didn't have any lives lost. Kinda a huge improvement. The following level is Bolgur's Throne, which took me multiple attempts. The biggest problem, and I do mean biggest, is the boss that comes at the end. The thing is, you can't insta-kill bosses. Not to mention, there's just so many troops in this level, And the Shadow Archers do not handle crowd control very well. See, their big range causes them to lose focus on targets really easily. Varuk could be pummeling some big enemy, right? And a bunch of archers will be supporting him. But as soon as somebody travels just even a little bit further down the path than Varuk is, all of the archers will now target that guy. And Varuk is kind of completely on his own at this point. This can be remedied slightly by, you know, moving Varuk all the time and placing archers just kind of all over the map so you get general coverage of everything. But you still kind of run into issues. So Varuk and his reinforcements are pretty often left high and dry. To be taken down once and for all, the big boss needs to be targeted by pretty much all of the archers on the map. And there's just so many troops in this level. Like, as soon as anybody gets by the boss, all the archers are like, okay, let's shoot this guy instead. And the boss just kind of gets to walk down the path for free. And all I have to do is kill the boss, right? Like, if I kill the boss, then all of the other enemies are just going to disappear into smoke. But because he has all of these ride or die enemies that'll take shots for him, I can't get my archers to deal enough damage to him. Bro slipped past my defenses too many times. Okay, here was my plan. I'm just gonna let all of the body blockers right through the fences, okay? I'm gonna offer no resistance to those guys. Yeah, I'm gonna lose a lot of lives, but hopefully I'll be able to kill Bolgur before I lose 20 lives. So at this point, that was kind of my best option. So that's what I did. I attacked him with everything I had. I put all of my reinforcement troops on him. And right at the end, I had to do some quick selling of towers at the beginning so I can place more archers near the end that'll actually be in range to hit him. But I just barely got him. Ooh. So it was on to the next level. Listen, after I killed the Golden Boy, these ice levels were kind of easy. I breezed through most of them, you know, just handing kills to Varuk so he could continue to level up and level up. On most of these levels, all I really had to do was kind of place archers all over the map and then upgrade them all together. And that pretty much did the trick. See, I did have a little trouble with the Valkyrie enemies, because they have such high armor and they constantly revive body blockers in front of them. But with, you know, careful hero and reinforcement placing, I was able to take them down. Also, after this level, I earned a hero that is kind of a sleeper pick, in my opinion. Mortimer. So I started... Oh, Varuk! What are you doing home so early? Look, I swear, I only used him for like half a level, and then I realized, I was like, oh, this guy's like a level 5 chump, you know? He can't even stop any enemies before dying because he's so fragile and he's so slow, and his hero ability is bad, it's terrible, it's nothing like your hero ability. I mean, your hero ability is great, his is like garbage, so, I only switched for like 5 waves, you know? It'll never happen again, okay? I swear. And then I made it to Jokel's Nest, the final ice level, where I learned a pretty valuable lesson. The instakill ability is sick as hell. It's literally the best ability in the Shadow Archer's arsenal. You see, after the time elapses, the Shadow Archers will hold the ability until a new enemy comes in their range. And if you do like the further upgrades to the ability, the timer goes down pretty significantly. And actually this level marks the beginning of my new strategy, something I probably should have been doing since, you know, the beginning of the game. So if you want to attempt this challenge, here's what you do. Start with 1 or 2 Shadow Archers depending on how much money you have, and then speedrun the Blade of Demise ability. And then you're just going to get 1 archer at a time, speedrunning this ability, and you repeat, and you repeat, and you repeat. Basically, the only ability we care about right now is the insta-kill, just because it's so useful. But once you've taken all of the good spots in the stage, then you're going to want to get, you know, a few crows here and there, just to kind of help with crowd control. And this strategy, you guys, it cooks, okay? It carried me through the final ice level thanks to some lucky insta-kills. It took me through Otil's farmland, despite the massive amount of enemies that have physical armor. So then I beat the Elf Forest level, and I just blasted through the Mage Town with some absolutely massive insta-kills, might I add. And by the way, Varuk is sick, you know? I would literally never want to do this challenge without having the extra reinforcements to place down. That hero ability just came in clutch so much. So the next level was the one with Gerald Lightseeker. Just like the levels before, I employed my insta-kill speedrun strategy. And I was cruising. You have to be pretty careful about where you place your reinforcements on this one, just because you're gonna get a lot of those high armor enemies that you're gonna have to stop and wait for your insta-kill cooldowns. But you know, if you're just like a little proactive with your abilities, it's not really a big issue. Then Mr. Lightseeker himself starts down the track. And one thing I kind of forgot at this point in the game is that you can't insta-kill bosses, you know? And Lightseeker has max armor, so basically he ran right through my defenses. Hey, and don't act like I didn't try to stop him. I think Varuk died like 4 or 5 times when I was stopping this guy. And once I did get a good chunk of damage out of him, he just like takes off his helmet and stares at the sun and heals it all back up anyway. So I had to take this one from the top. See, but on this second attempt, I kind of knew exactly what to do. Once I had enough archers with insta-kill abilities, I would dump all of my money into crows. We were gonna peck this guy to death. Look how crazy this looks. See, even with bro's armor, like, each crow is doing 1 damage per hit, you know? It doesn't really matter when you have 5 crows trained on you that are hitting you 3 times a second. There just really wasn't much he could do. So, that meant it was on to the final level. At this point in the game, I had, you know, all of the star upgrades I could have wanted, so it was really all or nothing here. I entered into the level and used my classic insta-kill speedrun strat. I was working on a whole nother level, okay? Placing my troops, running Varuk around the map, getting clutch insta-kills. I smashed through the castle walls without a single life lost. Here we go again. Right off the bat, I got 2 insta-kill archers, and the defenses were holding. Then, the castle dropped a cannonball on one of my high-level archers, effectively destroying half of my defenses. I completely forgot they could do that. How am I going to use my strategy if every few seconds the castle takes out one of my archers that I just dumped a bunch of money into? The cannonball made me lose 4 lives. I needed to improvise. I started to flood the map with archers. If there were more towers, they could share the brunt of the cannons, and with a little luck, my high-level archers wouldn't be incapacitated. And it worked. Cannonballs rained down on my towers, but for the most part, my good archers survived. I slowly built more and more insta-kill archers, collecting an army of crows right down the middle of the stage. Hordes of enemies pummeled into my forces, but they couldn't crack the seal. Then, the final wave came. Paragons marched down the stage, and my crows flocked, and my archers trained their bows, shooting to kill. 1 paragon down, then 2. My demon was losing health fast. Another paragon. My demon's health is going to the floor. 1 more paragon. Down. And then, I marched up to the castle gates and smashed open the doors. And just like that, credits roll. We did it. Phew! That was quite the adventure, everyone. Please let me know what tower you would like me to attempt next in this series. And if you enjoyed it, please subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.